Everyone wants to get rich, but most people are doing it in the dumbest ways possible. Like some of your friends are probably throwing money into dog coins, others are buying courses from gurus who've never made a dime outside of selling courses. Case in point, if you ever find yourself paying for VIP picks from one of these clowns, you're most likely getting scammed, but you're trying to turn sports betting into a side hustle. And after months of betting and relying on luck, you realize it's not making you any richer. In fact, it's probably making you poorer by the day. And I know this because I've been in your shoes once. I burned $3,000 in 2 months before realizing I was basically paying the bookie's next business class flight to paradise. But I learned from that mistake, and now I treat every bet like a data scientist. So today, I'll show you the boring math that actually builds real wealth, and how you can see bet slips like this on the daily. But hang on a minute, I still see a lot of you aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stop losing becoming the bookie's human ATM, then go ahead and click that subscribe button. Now we have to understand the root cause of the problem. So picture this. It's a Saturday and you toss in your parlay. Man City to win, Bayern over 2.5, some random Serie B draw, and a goal scorer because he feels due. It may look fine on paper, but honestly, that's not a good slip at all. That's a lottery ticket, because one bad ref decision and you're totally cooked. So here's what I'm trying to say. Don't bet on parlays, at least not if you're trying to actually profit long term. Parlays are built for degenerates to donate money to the bookie's yacht fund. But if you do bet them, the least you could do is be smart about it. How? Only include legs that have positive expected value, and keep it to 2 to 3 legs max. Because the second you start building 6-leg heaters, you're at the mercy of an unlucky losing streak. And that's where the spiral starts. You start chasing losses and blaming the refs. But before you place your bet, make sure they all correlate. Take UFC, for example. Say fighter A is a knockout artist, and you know that he ends fights early and rarely sees round 3. But you still throw him in a parlay of fighter A to win and the fight to go the distance. See the problem here? That's like betting on a sprinter to win a marathon. If this guy has never seen a judge's scorecard, stacking him with a fight goes all 3 rounds leg is just lighting money on fire. And that's exactly why most bettors stay stuck. They don't actually know how to line up their bets with the math. I didn't either, until I built a system that took all the guesswork out of it. So, if you want to see how it works, I put together a blueprint showing how I made my first $1,000 betting sharp. You can steal it and finally stop relying on luck. All you gotta do is click the link in the description below. And if you're watching this video on TV, here's a QR code. Just scan it and it'll take you to my betting strategy. But no matter how good a betting strategy is, it's never 100% foolproof. And it's all because of this one concept. Let me explain. You ever see that one team that's absolute garbage, but somehow keeps winning? Like, they're dead last in scoring, their quarterback throws ducks, and their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. On paper, they should be 1-6, but for some reason, they're 6-1. First game, the opponent fumbles on the 1-yard line with 10 seconds left. Next week, they win on a double doink field goal that somehow bounces in. Every game, there is some miracle that saves them, and so the media starts hyping them, and the bettors all jump on. But 1 week it stops. Quarterback throws 3 picks, no lucky bounces, no missed kicks. Final score 38-3. The heat is over, and so is the hype. This idea is known as variance, which is the randomness baked into short-term results. Meaning you could be doing everything right and still hit an epic losing streak that messes with your head. That's why pros manage their bankroll in a way that variance can't destroy them. Which brings us to step 3, because if there's one mistake that can torch your entire bankroll in the blink of an eye, it's this. So, a guy I know was following a system that he thought would turn him into a gazillionaire. It worked for him for a while, and in just 3 days, he turned $200 into $700. He felt like the king of the world, so he decided to go all in on a UFC fight. Well, his guy tapped in the second round, and my guy lost his entire bankroll in one night. So, really, it didn't matter that he had been winning, because all his profit went down the drain just like that. That's why pros use units. They risk only 1 to 2% of their bankroll per bet, because their goal isn't to hit a big win in one go, it's to stay in the game long enough for the bankroll to grow. And how do you do that? That's where step 4 comes in, and I want you to think about it this way. You walk into a supermarket and see 2 shelves. One has the same water bottle for $3, the other has it for $2. Where do you buy? Obviously the cheaper one, right? Because you're getting more value for the same thing. And that's exactly how sharp bettors see odds. Every sportsbook is just a different shelf with different prices. So your job is to find the book that's offering the best number and bet there. But the problem with this is that scanning over 15 books manually takes forever. That's why I use a tool called OddsJam. It automatically scans every book for mispriced bets with a positive expected value. And yeah, it costs money, but it allows you to consistently find positive EV bets, which helps you to make your money back fast. And I know this is just theory at this point, so if you want to see it in action, you can try OddsJam for yourself. I'll drop the link in the description below. And if you use my link, I'll also give you free access to my private community. Right now, we have over 81 members sharing bets, swapping strategies, and beating the books together. In fact, one member earned over $8,000 last September, and that could be you too. So check the description, or if you're watching on TV, scan the QR code on screen to get started. But here's the catch. Even if your confidence is sky high right now, one emotional bet can bring your bankroll crashing down. Because let me tell you a story. UFC 293, Adesanya versus Strickland. Everyone around me said Izzy was a lock. One guy I knew even dumped his whole account on him at -600, bragging it was free money. But instead of Izzy outstriking his opponent like usual, Strickland knocked him down in the first round with a sharp 1-2. But my guy was still unfazed. "It's too early to tell," he said. "This is prime Izzy. He'll get a knockout in the later round," he said. Well, that didn't go as expected, because Strickland walked Izzy down with constant pressure, jabs and teeps all day. At the end of the match, Strickland wins by a dominant decision, and my guy, well, he stayed quiet the rest of the night. So let's unpack that for a second. That was a terrible bet from the start. One, because it was negative EV, and two, it was clearly driven by emotion. But even if it was a positive EV bet, going all in is never a good idea because you just never know what might happen. So yeah, chasing emotion and going all in is basically volunteering your bankroll to the books. The fix? It's a simple mindset shift that 99% of bettors seem to ignore. Here's what I mean. Imagine someone jumping into the stock market, picking random stocks because it's going to the moon, putting half their money on some crypto meme coin, and then crying themselves to sleep when they get rug pulled. That person would lose all of their money in a few weeks. But that's exactly how most people bet on sports. So if you don't treat betting like investing, you're going to lose. There's no way around this. But here's what the pros do instead. They treat every bet like a trade. They look for value in the market, and they think in decades, not the big game on the weekend. So if you're starting from scratch, here's what you need to do. Set a bankroll, define your unit size, and only bet when there's actual value. Because bets like this don't just happen. It takes discipline, patience, and a strategy sharper than the average parlay princess to pull more than 150% profit. Not because some fake guru said that his cousin played high school ball with the backup point guard and he's locked in for the game. So if you actually want a system that really works, I just dropped a video walking you through the exact OddsJam process. I used to go from $0 to $10,000 betting sports. I'll put that video up on screen right now so you can watch that next.